is, guys? Your boy Blast Sage Dean today. We're here to watch some top trending, which is the channel, of course. The video is 10 shocking last words before execution. This shit should be good. I wonder what the hell my last words would be. You know? Like I'd be in the electrical chair and shit, and it'd be like, what's your final words that your friends and family would want to hear from you before you die? Remember, this is the final thing that your loved one will ever hear you say. And I'll sit there looking like I'm thinking about it real hard, like, take your panties off, and it just die. I love that movie, man. When the guy yells, take your panties off. That's my shit. But yo, the link to this original video is in the description down below. Make sure to go check it out. It's on Top Trending's channel. He makes good videos. Go fucks with him. Subscribe, whatnot. Let go.
Sean Patrick Flanagan was a 28-year-old ex-Marine who thought he was doing society a service by killing homosexuals. He said he strangled and dismembered a 45-year-old chef, James Lewandowski. 4 days later, he did the same thing to a 59-year-old pianist, Albert Duggins, after Mr. Duggins offered him a ride. In a 7-page letter, he explained that he hated his own homosexuality, and that might have been a motivation for the killings, as 5 officers strapped him to a stretcher in the death chamber at the Nevada State Prison. He smiled and told the prosecutor Dan Seaton, "I love you." He was executed by lethal injection in 1989.
Nigga, what? Is this a practical joke? I love you, and which is even worse because he was actually gay. So like, we'll never know if he was serious. Like, dude, what the, oh my God. And it's really funny too, because if you ever like watch politics and all that shit, the motherfuckers who are always the most focused on the hate of homosexuality and the just complete eradication of, you know, gayness and all and same-sex marriages and all that shit, they always turn out to be gay. Like, what sense does that make? That's like a black dude going on TV at a press conference and being like, I hate niggers. Kill them all.
John Wayne Gacy, known as the Killer Clown, was a rapist and serial killer in the 1970s.
Of course this nigga was a clown. You know, clowns are probably the only other group of people that have a worse rap than black people. Clowns is gonna be like the new racial insult of like 2017. I call it.
Gacy believed that his abusive childhood led to conflicts over his own sexuality. As a part-time gig, he would dress up as his alter ego, Pogo the Clown, for children's parties and community gatherings. He told police that his alternate personality was responsible for luring young men to his home, where he would rape and then strangle his victims to death. He was convicted of killing 33 boys and young men in suburban Chicago between 1972 and 1978. Investigators found most of his victims' bodies buried under his house in a crawl space. On his way to his execution in 1994, Gacy told a prison guard, "Kiss my ass." Edward H. Ruloff was accused of many crimes during his lifetime. Notably, he was accused of beating his wife and daughter to death, as well as trying to poison 2 other family members. Ruloff spent some time in prison but was released due to lack of evidence against him. In 1870, the law finally caught up to him when he was sentenced to death for the murder of a store clerk in Binghamton, New York. As he stood up on the gallows waiting to be hung, he yelled, "Hurry it up! I want to be in hell in time for dinner." Robert Charles Corner.
That's crazy. That's gangster.
Who pushed for his own execution, was put to death for murdering a camper east of Phoenix in 1987. He also was convicted of repeatedly raping a female camper that night, once in front of her boyfriend. Corner admitted to killing Larry Pritchard after eating a campfire dinner with the man. In an interview, Corner said, "I don't know what everyone's so scared about. Death is not that damn bad." As he was strapped to the gurney, he was seen smiling throughout the entire execution process. When asked if he had any last last words. Corner reportedly said, "Yes, go Raiders." Peter Curtin was
Nick! Oh, what? Go Raiders? Were they even doing well when he got killed? What this? Damn, yo, man. I love how, you know, as a black person, we get perpetuated as like the most hardened and thug life and all that crazy shit. But these motherfuckers on here are all white. Like, but none of these people on here are black. And they all way more thug life than any gangster I've ever seen in any fucking movie. Way worse. That's some crazy, like, you gonna die, you smiling? Go Raiders? Nigga, what?
a German serial killer known as the Vampire of Dusseldorf. He committed a series of murders and sexual acts in 1929. One of his victims was a 5-year-old girl, who he strangled to death after stabbing her with scissors. He claimed that he made numerous attempts to drink the blood of some of his victims. He explained that the sight of blood was integral to his sexual stimulation. While heading to the guillotine, these were his final words. "Tell me, after my head is chopped off, will I still be able to hear, at least for a moment, the sound of my own blood gushing from the stump of my neck? That would be the pleasure to end all pleasures." James D. French was an American criminal who was sentenced to life for killing a motorist while hitchhiking in 1958. Many sources claim that he wanted to commit suicide, but was too afraid to go through with it, not willing to spend his life in prison, and too scared to kill himself. He strangled his cellmate to death in an effort to force the state to give him the death penalty, as he was led to the electric chair for his crimes. French's last words were, "How's this for your headline? French fries." Construction worker Christopher Emmett beat his co-worker to death with the base of a brass lamp. He then stole $100 from his wallet to go buy crack cocaine. The two roofers from Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina were sharing a motel room while they worked on a job near Danville, Virginia. In his initial statement to police, Emmett denied any involvement in the killing. During the investigation, police took possession of Emmett's clothes. Subsequent testing revealed that Emmett's boots were stained with the victim's blood. That is when Emmett confessed to the murder. The governor of Virginia at that time, Tim Kaine, refused to grant him amnesty from his impending execution. Emmett's last words were, "Tell my family and friends I love them. Tell the governor he just lost my vote." Y'all hurry this along, I'm dying to get out of here.
That's funny.
Robert Alton Harris and his younger brother hijacked a car occupied by two 16-year-old boys. Robert ordered them to drive to a remote area. The Harris brothers told the boys to kneel, and that's when the boys began to pray. Robert told the boys to quit crying and die like men. Then he shot them both multiple times. The brothers then returned to the victim's car to use it as their getaway vehicle to rob a San Diego bank. Harris was arrested less than an hour after the robbery and was charged with murder, auto theft, kidnapping, and burglary. Harris was executed on April 21st, 1992, in the gas chamber at San Quentin State Prison. His last words were, "You can be a king or a street sweeper, but everyone dances with the Grim Reaper." In 1976, Gary Gilmore shot a gas station attendant and a motel clerk in cold blood during separate robberies. His October trial lasted only 2 days, and he was sentenced to death. He was given the choice of death by hanging or to be killed by a firing squad. He opted to be shot, stating that there would be no mistakes. Gilmore fired his lawyers and refused to appeal the decision because he welcomed death. At the time, he was the first man to be executed in the United States in 10 years. The notorious spree killer uttered the words, "Let's do it," just before he was executed. Years later, that very phrase became the inspiration for Nike's Just Do It campaign. Carl Panzram was a serial killer and rapist who confessed to 21 different murders in the 1920s, spanning the United States and Angola, Africa. He once described himself as rage personified. He said that he would often rape men whom he had robbed, not necessarily because he was homosexual, but to dominate and humiliate them. In the midst of his 9-year killing spree, he was arrested for burglary. He told officers, "I'll kill the first man that bothers me." When he arrived arrived at Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary, he killed the foreman of the prison laundry by battering him to death with an iron bar. Subsequently, he was sentenced to death and refused to appeal his sentence. He gave death threats to any human rights activist that tried to intervene on his behalf. While the noose was being put around his neck, the executioner asked if he had any last words. Panzram spit in his face and yelled, "Hurry it up, you Hoosier bastard! I could kill a dozen men while you're screwing around."
Fucking thug life. Damn. Damn that. Just do it. How you gonna take the slogan of your multi-million-dollar shoe corporation from somebody's last words before they were murdered? Where they do that at? What are those? What are those? But yo, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really did, actually. This was really, really, really good. If you did, make sure to comment, like, and or subscribe. This is your boy Blasphemous HD. Of course, this video can be found by clicking the link in the description down below. It's on Top Trending's channel. Make sure to go check them out. They make really good top 10s, which is grossly evident by the fact that this video was on fleek. Make sure to comment, like, and or subscribe to this channel. As always, damn it, I swear to God, I was propelled to say just do it just now. Like I thought that was my outro. I'm not even gonna do that to myself. Twisms. Make sure to check out my prank channel. I'm uploading 2 brand new pranks every single week, as this one you see on the left. Click the annotation if you want to watch that, or look in the description where I'll leave a link for the people who are on phones. And as always, Blasphemous HD out.